You're listening to episode 14 of the Ento Podcast.
Looking to stay up to date on all things entomorphagy? You're in the right place. Welcome to the Ento Podcast with your host, Ross Bell.
Hi, and welcome to episode 14 of the Ento Podcast. So, thanks for tuning in, or downloading, I should say. It's going to be a short episode this week, so we've only got 4 stories. So, what we've got this week is: are you man enough to eat insects for dinner? Maggots being used in China to combat food waste. Another school using an eating bugs challenge to sort of increase, to get students to do things. And cricket ice cream, now a big thing in little babies in Kensington. Before we dive into today's episode, I just want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Cricket. Cricket, for all your dried, flavoured and cricket protein products. Find us at www.cricket.co.uk. So the first story we'll cover is: are you man enough to eat insects for dinner? We get to grips with the newest item on trendy menus. And this comes from the Telegraph, and it's by Nick Harding. Someone once told me that in the UK we'll start to eat insects when insects no longer look like insects. Well, there's no mistaking the soy-covered critter staring up from my fork with its big juicy abdomen, winged thorax and a pair of big bug eyes. I raise the fork to my mouth and reason with myself. I eat prawns, and prawns are insects of the sea. Exactly, nods Seb Holmes, the chef who has just prepared the salt and pepper fried cricket I'm chowing down on. And crickets are just prawns of the sky. There's an argument employed by proponents of bug grub. It goes like this: Brits once found the idea of eating raw fish repulsive. Now M&S and Boots sell it for lunch. Curry, kebabs, quinoa, even spag bol was once considered exotic, but tastes change over time. That may be, but as far as I know, no one has ever had to call out Rent-A-Kill to deal with a nasty infestation of salmon sashimi. The issue here is the raw ingredient. Creepy crawlies are, well, creepy. Seb is one of the pioneers behind a movement to change this aversion. Founder of London's insect-free Farang restaurant. His book Cook Thai came out this week, and tonight he launches the UK's first monthly insect-themed pop-up restaurant in association with Grub, a food company which aims to introduce insects to the British palate and spread the word about the benefits, feeding diners a 5-course tasting menu of Thai-inspired insect dishes. It's already a sellout. The invertebrate ingredients are supplied by Ento the first commercial British farm to produce insects for human consumption, which humanely kills crickets in batches of 4,000. The question most traditional carnivores ask is, why? For a start, insects are more nutritious than meat. Some grubs are 78% protein, with less fat than beef, pork and fish, but high in levels of vitamins and minerals. Some worms, for example, contain a comparable amount of omega-3 and 6 oils to fish. Secondly, they are easy, cheap and quick, and environmentally friendly to produce in vast numbers. It takes over 13,000 litres of fresh water and 25 kilograms of soy-based animal feed to produce 1 kilo of grain-fed beef protein versus 8 litres to produce 1 kilo of cricket protein. Eating insects has always been a novel value in the West, thanks to I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here and tequila worms, but 2 billion people around the world already devour them in one form or another. In 2013, Belgium became the first European country to allow the sale of insects for human consumption. Supermarkets there stock a range of insect-based products, including a spread made from mealworms, carrots and tomatoes. Other countries followed suit. One of Holland's main supermarkets chains, Jumbo, introduced a range of insect foods in 400 stores, which included bug burgers and breaded bug balls. And in the UK and US, the fitness industry has started to use high-protein insect-derived ingredients such as cricket flour to make energy bars. Last year, Seb and Grub published the Ultimate Insect Cookbook, in which the chef was given free rein to design recipes using crickets, mealworms and grasshoppers. It was fun. I felt like Willy Wonka, he laughs. I think now insects are becoming a viable food source. We're not saying don't eat meat, we're saying try them. See what you think. and they're a surprisingly versatile ingredient that can be added whole or made into flours and pastes. They have different tastes depending on how they were cooked. Crickets taste like shrimp when they're fried, and like cocoa powder when they are roasted. Freeze-dried grasshoppers taste like walnut. Ants work well sprinkled as seasoning. Some taste little like pops of lime on your tongue, others like vinegar. Buffalo worms complement pork. My salt and pepper crickets have been fried in soy sauce and white pepper and served with Penang leaves. They taste like tiny pork scratchings. Inoffensive, a bit dry with some crunch. Like a bar snack, Seb nods. They go well with a cold beer. Cricket Mayang is a different league altogether, however. The one-bite parcels made with toasted coconut, pomegranate, lime and chilli are traditionally made with shrimp, which Seb substitutes with cricket paste and a few whole critters for presentation. Wrapped in a betel leaf, the dish is an explosion of flavours, a gateway dish, according to Seb. The grasshopper praline ice cream is also delicious, the crushed insects providing a nutty crunch and a hint of bitterness that balances the sweet creaminess and melts away my misgivings. With the European protein shortage on the horizon, if we can get over our queasiness and embrace invertebrates, there is a ready supply of nutrition right under our feet, and with pioneers like Seb to make insects palatable, like ant sprinkles on a cupcake, the answer's a no-brainer. So the Eat Grub pop-up restaurant's the final Sunday of the month, and I believe it goes on till September. But I'll put a link to their website in the show notes so you can have a look and see sort of when the dates are, and you can book if you fancy giving it a go. Next up, we've got a story which is different from the other stories I've had on the podcast. This one's actually about using the insects to remove food waste rather than using them as food. And this comes from Phys.org, phys.org, and it's in China. Maggots finish plates and food waste. It's by Ludwig Herret. Thousands of ferocious white maggots wiggle phonetically while tearing through the trayfuls of leftover meat, vegetables and fruits in an unusual farm in southwest China. It may not be a pretty sight, but the gluttonous larvae could help China eat away something far uglier, the country's mountain of food waste. The individual larvae of the black soldier fly, which are native to the Americas, eat double their weight of garbage every day, according to experts. The farm in Sichuan province then turns the bugs into high-protein animal feed and their feces into an organic fertilizer. These bugs are not disgusting. They are for managing food waste. You have to look at this from another angle, says Hurong. Sorry if I'm pronouncing any of these names incorrectly, but I'm not good in Chinese. The manager of the farm near the city of Pengshuan. There's no shortage of grub for the larvae. Each person throws away almost 30 kilos of food per year in China, a nation of 1.4 billion people. On average, 1 kilo of maggots can eat 2 kilos of rubbish in 4 hours, Hu said. Hu buys the discarded food from Chenghua Environment, a company that collects such waste from 2,000 restaurants in the city of Chengdu. If you put a fish in there, the only thing that comes out is its white skeleton, Chenghua Environment Director Wang Jinghao said. 1/3 of the food produced in the world for human consumption every year, approximately 1.3 billion tons, gets lost or wasted, while some 870 million people go hungry, according to the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization. This waste also exacerbates pollution problems. In a 2011 report, the FAO said that if food waste were a country, it would rank behind only the US and China for greenhouse gas emissions. Each year, China produces a total of 40 billion tons of food waste, the equivalent weight of 110 Empire State Buildings. That's just one country. But there are cultural reasons behind the issue, Wang said. When you invite someone to dine at a restaurant, the custom is always to order more dishes than necessary to show your hospitality. Inevitably, leftovers are thrown out. But the black soldier fly, a rather long and slender critter, does more than eliminate waste. Once fattened, some of the larvae are sold live or dried to feed animals such as chickens, fish and turtles. They boast a nutritious composition, up to 63% protein and 36% lipids. The maggots make it possible to recover proteins and fats still present in the waste, then return the nutrients into the human food cycle through the livestock. The larval feces can even be used as organic fertilizer in agriculture. China, Canada, Australia and South Africa are among the countries where it is legal to feed poultry and fish with insects. It's more restricted in the US and the EU, said Christophe Daran, Secretary General of the International Platform of Insects for Food and Feed, a non-profit representing Europe's insect production centre. The EU will allow insect protein as feed in fish farms from July. It's an encouraging first step, because the EU is opening up to this more and more, he said. Recycling food waste may offer an economic benefit as well as an environmental one. Who makes a comfortable living selling live black soldier larvae as fertilizer, taking into the accounts electricity, labour, delivery costs, and the price of waste? She makes an annual profit of between 200,000 and 300,000 yuan, roughly about $29,000 to $43,500, which is a large sum in China. It's no wonder then that the black soldier fly farms have been servicing all over China since the first site appeared in the country 3 years ago. This year we expect to open 3 or 4 new sites around Chengdu, Wang said. The idea is to transform waste into useful substances. Leftovers are not the only thing that should get a second life in China. Chinese energy firm Sinopec plans to build next year a factory in eastern Zhejiang province to turn cooking oil, which is sometimes illegally reused in restaurants, into biofuel for passenger planes. So this comes from the Daily Item, and this is by Robert Inglis, and it's entitled "Principal and Club Member Eat Bugs After Student Brings Up Grades." So as you can tell by the headline, we're back to bugs as a dare, but at least it's bugs in the news, I suppose. As the chocolate-covered bugs landed on the plate, Beck Elementary Principal Cindy Gibbison looked tepidly at them before picking one up and popping it into her mouth in front of the entire third-grade class on Tuesday afternoon. With a count of 3, 2, 1, the first bugs were consumed, followed shortly after by a look of uncertainty on the face of Gibbison, as cries of "Ugh!" erupted from the students. Gibbison agreed with Sunbury Kiwanis member Jack Felix, who was her bug-eating partner, that it's not bad. The Bring Up Grades program is a Kiwanis program that has been around for many years, said Felix. Students in the program attempt to bring up a grade from one marking period to the next, or maintain a grade of A or B. This is the first time in a very long time that Beck has come closest to passing this number at one time, Gibson said, referring to an increase from the second to third marking periods. They doubled the number of students who moved up a grade or maintained a grade of A or B, she said. Third grade students Lila Long and Jessie Kearney said they both had been working really hard. One time, my grades went down pretty far, so I got grounded, and my mum told me to get them up, and I got mostly A's, Long said. Kearney shared a similar story. I've been working really hard so far because my grades had been going down to C's, and now I've been getting A pluses. As for the bug eating, I think it's pretty disgusting. But at the time, I think it's pretty cool, says Long. After eating a few bugs, however, Gibbison had a different feeling. Thank goodness they had chocolate on them. The bigger ones were crunchy, and the casing, you could start to taste that lying on your tongue. Gibbison's bug-eating partner, Felix, took it all with a playful heart, asking students, "Is he moving?" about one of the bugs on the plate. Students in the program were rewarded with a pizza party, certificate, and a pin for all their hard work. So again, it's using sort of bugs as a dare, which I'm can't say I'm happy with, but if it gets it into the news, then it still sort of keeps it in the front of people's minds, even if it's not the way we want it. The final story today comes from billypenn.com, and this is by Danya Henninger, and it's entitled Cricket Ice Cream. It's now a thing at little babies in Kensington. So when I first read this, I thought this was sort of something I'd be able to get down in sort of South Kensington or somewhere, but it's Kensington in the US. Anyone who knows little babies ice cream knows three things to be true. 1. The folks behind Frankfurt Avenue Creamery fully embrace the bizarre. Just watch their viral head-eating promo video. 2. They believe in sustainability. LBIC, or Little Babies Ice Cream, pint containers sold in supermarkets are 100% recyclable, an industry first. 3. The ice cream they make is always delicious. Remember that last item, especially when you consider this news. On Friday, little babies will serve ice cream made of bugs. Crickets specifically. But wait, before you close this page, don't worry, you won't be crunching legs mixed into your cup or cone like they were in the sustainability stunts pulled off last year in New York and London. These crickets have been turned into flour by the Philadelphia Insectarium and Butterfly Pavilion in Holmesburg. Cricket flour has been hailed as one of the most environmentally friendly and nutritious food sources and a key to solving the global malnutrition crisis. In this case, the flour is being baked into fancier small French almond cakes, which are then broken up and swirled through the regular Little Baby's Philadelphia-style ice cream. Hey, we're not scared of selling weird stuff, observed LBIC co-founder Pete Agavine, who counts Earl Grey Sriracha as one of his best sellers. It'll be on our menu just like any other flavour. The Cricket Cake Ice Cream will make its debut at Little Baby's monthly First Friday Ice Cream Happy Hour, which will feature a pop-up zoo from the organisation that inspired it. Agavine recently met Insectarium CEO John Cambridge at a board meeting for a workforce development non-profit. He visited Cambridge's northeast Philly space and was wowed by what Cambridge had done with the 35-year-old centre, which started life as an extermination business and slowly morphed into an insect museum. Cambridge, who just obtained his PhD in entomology, converted the garage into a tropical greenhouse, added a butterfly pavilion, and revamped the displays, turning the insectarium into the destination for both educational trips and events like birthday parties and weddings. The butterfly pavilion is breathtaking, Agavine said. I was absolutely flabbergasted. I asked him, how could we work together on something? Cambridge had eaten little babies once before, he said, but he wasn't fully aware of the scope of the flavour craziness the shop gets into. I think I got some fruit flavour. It was good, but I didn't pay much attention. This time around, he had the right guide, and things were different. When I met up with Pete recently and saw all the different stuff they had to offer, I got a great pre-sugar rush, he recalled. I'd never seen half the flavours they had, so I tried mushroom ice cream. It seriously tasted like someone planted a garden in my mouth and did a very good job of watering and fertilising it. No one else had used the Insectarium's cricket flour for commercial product yet, but Cambridge was excited to give it a go. Hence LBIC Cricket Cake Ice Cream and the First Friday pop-up. From 6 to 8 p.m. on the 2nd of June, Cambridge will bring a whole slew of butterflies and other fascinating insects and set up on the sidewalk outside Little Baby's World Headquarters at 2311 Frankfurt Avenue. If you just wanted to swing by and peep at pretty invertebrates and then order a scoop of regular flavour, that's totally fine. But if you want to take a step into the world of entomorphagy by sampling a bite of the cricket ice cream, the choice is yours. So quite good that they're making it into a cake and then sort of twirling it through, so like a cookie dough or a brownie ice cream. It's quite a good idea. But again, links to all of these stories are in the show notes, so thanks for listening. And if you can sort of go across to any comments, if you go across to the entopodcast.co.uk, you can leave them down, leave comments in the comment section for this episode, which is episode 14, and we'll see you again next week. So until then, ta-ra!
Thanks so much for listening to the Ento Podcast. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit theentopodcast.co.uk and on Facebook and Twitter at The Ento Podcast. We'll catch you next time.